was one of those things where, that they were big things for those people. They were one-day bus trips. I remember Albany Club, I think 100 people, and because I used to do the Albany show, so of course they all hit my tables. And wonderful to see them. But the Albany Club came down. It was a 3-hour trip. They all took on the bus. Talk about a collaborative experience.
No, absolutely.
Well, if I was in the hobby, or that was my full-time job, it'd be one thing to be able to travel every week. But I am certainly not in a position to travel weekly to card shows. I mean,
Right.
For me, the National is one I definitely go to every year. I try to hit at least one Dallas card show a year, maybe one or two Nashvilles, and then past that, for me, it's all just local. I mean, that's about the extent of how much I get to travel, as far as the hobby is concerned.
What's up, chat?
And Drew, you pointed out about like JSA or Heritage. One thing I do know is
I'm watching the end of Hobby Hotline. I also have some stuff that I'm testing.
My Dallas area teammates, Angela and Steph,
before we kind of kick things off here.
They're going to Minneapolis next month. They do all the heavy lifting of at the Dallas Card Show. I'm just there as the pretty face. But there's other people too that travel to various shows around the country for ComC. JSA has people, they can be in more than one location at the same time.
Let me see.
Heritage has a big enough staff. They can be in more than one location at the same time.
Yeah.
So it affects them only who goes where, but the really bigger operations do have enough bodies and enough experience where they can send people.
They can have some sort of footprint. Yeah, they can easily have some sort of footprint in multiple times in multiple areas. Absolutely. Let's see here. Hobby News. Thank you, Hobby News Daily. White Sox Tom says you need to have the National on the West Coast. That's something that
Joe Oliva has a great
looks like that doesn't work.
That's coming up, and
yes,
and that will be Labor Day weekend,
why.
Which is to a large extent the 43rd anniversary, because the Labor Day weekend 1980 was the very first National in Anaheim.
Yeah.
So it is the anniversary of the first National.
Yep. And also, I think that Burbank show, that this is actually, it's funny that was the comment, because this is where I was going with that. What the guys have done over at Burbank Cards and all their partners getting that show together has been incredible. And I actually
think
working
that
here.
Let me see if it's maybe
good,
on my end.
If they keep their momentum and keep the uniqueness of it going, I can easily seeing that as being quote unquote called the West Coast National in 5 years. Like it's that big,
custom commands,
and has that big of a presence. And
why is it not working?
It could easily be a destination event within 5 or 6 years. Now, whether it commands the same attention as the National, who knows? But that's tough. The National does have a pretty long head start on that.
Says that it's
I
running.
do that see
Stream
that
Elements
show and
running.
their shows, since they're doing multiple.
Maybe let me try
Being a destination event such as the National.
No, I think I should have it. Maybe I need to log into it.
I completely agree right here with that 70s card show. That I do hope the regional shows maintain their uniqueness. I don't want to see shows homogenizing, and I completely agree with you there. The difference between our Hickory shows and our Charlotte shows and our Raleigh shows compared to the Mint or the National, like I love the differences. I love the small shows in a mall. Those are some of my favorites. I definitely don't want to see them all the same.
And even the big Dallas Card Show, we set up our ComC booth in the Starlight Room, which is the smaller 100. And that room is basically a large Dallas area card show. Yes, it is mostly local people. There are some people there because that room is also used for the official trade night. But there's about half the room is a large Dallas Card Show.
Yeah.
So in a sense, even within the Dallas Card Show,
add YouTube channel. I mean, isn't that what I did already
in that show? And that's really cool. Where the big room, the 400 table room, that's the homogenized room. The Starlight room, that room's more fun.
Yeah. The Starlight Room definitely has its own vibe.
Yes, it does.
And we're a big fan of carpeting on the floor.
Oh, yeah, yes. Starlight Room, that's the best part about it. Anytime you can have a card show and you can find carpets, that's a necessity.
It says that it's running, so I don't know why it wouldn't be.
We're starting to wind
Stream
down.
Elements
I want
bot
to transition to something
Maybe
you and
it's
I have talked about.
Yes.
And we have somebody who himself is we'll call him a specialized collector because he's PSA Hall of Famer on his category in NASCAR. But Fanatics made an interesting announcement this week as well.
Yeah.
The bot is in your channel already.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do it. I'm just excited. What's the announcement, Rich?
They're going to be doing tennis cards.
Topps Chrome Tennis is coming.
Commands.
I love it. I love
Add
it.
a
I
new
love
command
it. Topps
and
Chrome
advance
Tennis has
enable
been announced.
the command.
What I know, I'm an
Set the
oddball
stream
collector. I've
elements
been
as a moderator
collecting
or
tennis
editor.
for about the last 5 years. A lot of the Net Pro, a lot of the old school stuff. About 5 years ago, I started doing it because my mom was a really big tennis player, and I really started collecting them to show her some of the tennis cards and things like
editor.
that.
Okay, so now maybe let me try.
But yeah, Fanatics bringing out Topps Chrome Tennis, and I'm sure a bunch of other releases. Pretty awesome. I love it. I think it's awesome.
And I am a big tennis fan, as you know, and I talked about my days. I did tennis stats at Wimbledon in 1987 and the U.S. Tennis Open 84-90. I'm a big tennis fan, and I love tennis. The problem is, and I don't follow tennis obviously nearly as closely as I did then.
Yeah.
But the players aren't nearly as famous as they were then.
Right.
I mean, try to name the top 10 women's players. Good luck with
that.
I
couldn't even begin to.
Yeah.
In the men's, we were dominated by so many years by big three, big four. That is transitioning, and
there might be one
or, the number one player is a really good young player. I get that. But again, Nadal just fell out of the top 10.
Yeah.
After all these years, 19 years. But the point is, there's a transition, and you have to build up who the players are as well. Tennis has one problem. We'll call it the major sports the card companies have.
Custom commands enable.
The other sports
enabled, so it should
they don't have in tennis. And it's the same problem racing has. It's a sport not held in the same place. Yes, Daytona's in the same place every year, but you have a weekend.
Right.
Tennis, the most you have is maybe 3 weeks at any of the 4 majors and Indian Wells.
Editor.
It's a transitional sport. You don't stay in the same place, and so you don't get a place. You don't have home teams. I know there's still WTT World Team Tennis, but that's not really an important part of tennis either. It's hard to generate local interest. You're there for the week, and then they go to the next place.
Exactly.
And so I would actually do tennis as a region. I would do that. That would be what I would do as a direct-to-consumer sport.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Definitely. I don't see that showing up in LCS as much.
No, I don't either. And speaking on that in the comparison to NASCAR,
stream
Logan, do you think
that
NASCAR also would benefit from a lot more D2C products as opposed to just putting them out in hobby shops, putting them out maybe some blasters at Walmart, because they are a lot of it's very similar to tennis in that way.
Well, NASCAR pretty much is already direct to consumer. My LCS is there's only one out of the 3 that carries a little bit of NASCAR here in town. So, if I want to go buy at an LCS, there's only one place I can go. So, I'm kind of forced in a way to almost have to buy online, which, I do quite a bit. Of course, you have your Targets and your Walmarts, you can get your blasters, but, that's certainly not the same as hobby boxes. So if I'm wanting hobby, then a lot of times I have to buy that online. But, as far as tennis is concerned, some of the things that I would love to see, wouldn't it be cool to have like a Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs dual cut autographs on a card. Wouldn't that be just incredible?
Yes.
Or Tom McEnroe on a, you know, I mean, those things would just be incredible.
McEnroe and Line Judge dual auto. I mean, come on now. Possibilities are endless. What's going on, U.S. Sports Cards? Just jumping in. Let's see. Mike Summer, 347 added 337,000. Let's see here. We did. I wanted to address this. I'm not the one that works with ComC. That is Uncle Rich. But Dennis, negatives on eBay simply has to do with you see the same thing when it comes to almost any consignor that has been around for a while.
I think it's just not working.
People get frustrated. People get upset, and a lot of negatives are left just for the hell of it. There's really, I personally buy cards from ComC on their website and on eBay every single week, and never have a problem whatsoever at all. So, you know,
I will also state, if you get a problem, it will get fixed. And if you're having a problem, you can always contact me directly, and, you know, at least copy me, and I'll stay informed on any, and I've done that for my friends. Any, you know, back in the day, I would say, just copy me on any email you send to ComC, and that way I'll stay in the loop, and if something comes up, I'll know what's going on too. So it's good for me as a ComC employee just to keep up with things like that. So I've always been a big fan of, hey, take care of things. And a couple of my LCSs, and both times it was not a ComC issue, had some issues in the buyback program. And each time I stayed on it to make sure they got taken care of.
Nice. One thing I do want to address in regards to
their issues, not.
Yeah. One thing I do want to address in regards to tennis, Colin Murray says, like golf, they're making tennis cards because of the money. Of course, they see an avenue to make money, but also I'm a massive golf collector. I've been playing golf since I was 5 years old. I know a ton of people that love to collect golf. I've been buying up every golf card I could find since I was a kid. Tennis, there's a lot of tennis fans. They make lacrosse cards. Guess what? I just took in a submission of about 1,500 of them, all for a guy's PC. A lot of people in these markets aren't necessarily doing it like they are the NFL, NBA, MLB markets.
See how this is going to work.
A flipping market, a selling market. A lot of people that are in this are actual collectors, people that want the cards in their sets. And if there is a demand for it,
all right. I got everything pretty much set up here. Let me just move some stuff around. We'll get started. All right, let me pull up the first topic here, which I think is actually one of the most important topics for cards in quite some time, which I understand is something that everyone, anytime there's a topic in the hobby, I feel like everybody says this, but either way. Let me share screen. This report came out All right. Streams tweeted. What else do we want to pull up here? Nothing else really. I do wish I could erase that comment. I don't know how to erase comments live. I don't think I can. Can't. Yeah, moderator. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's just also pull up the stream here because, or actually, does it? Yeah, it shows. I'm trying to figure out how to see users in the stream, and I think I know how to do it here. Participants. Yeah, okay, we'll just make that a little bit smaller. Kind of want to, I think we're going to make some changes here to how we're constructing some of these, because I also want to pull up the article. Let's see, where do we go? What do I want to do? Oh, MLB. MLB to stream all minor league games, because I there we go. We got the first. I guess on Twitter you can't really see it. Either way, okay. But and then I also I think I want to. Sorry, I'm just getting stuff set up. Obviously, as you can tell here. Where is? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Adam. I am your host today. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Adam. I am your host. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what I think the impact is of the MLB deciding to stream all of their minor league games. Now, let's get right into it. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Adam from Heroes for Sale. I'm also testing the intro as well. I don't know if anyone can tell, and I'm going to be doing this before some of the before the topics. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about what I think the impact of the MLB deciding to stream all minor league games is going to be potentially on sports cards. Now, let's get right into it. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Adam from Heroes for Sale. I'm very interested to hear about your thoughts on this topic, so make sure you drop it in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video, and subscribe if you are new. So, MLB just announced they're going to be streaming. They're going to be streaming minor league games. So this was something that when I was in grad school, I did kind of actually, we're going to share this other screen here too. So yeah, Front Office Sports. I talked about Sportico being a great resource if you're into sports business. Front Office Sports, another phenomenal resource if you're looking for sports business. But so they announced that MLB is working on a deal with Bally to stream all minor league games for free. Now, this was something that I have talked about previously. If you have been following me for a while, you probably have seen some of the stuff that I talked about. When I was in grad school, actually, I did a paper. Basically, my capstone project essentially was about how I thought that the MLB could be doing a much better job with their marketing of their young stars and comparing it to the NBA. And one of the things was sort of developing a show for minor league players. And it was kind of like I was trying to develop a show that was almost like NFL Red Zone, where it was basically focusing on the top 100 prospects And anytime like there was a top 100 prospect on the mound or at bat, it would switch to that, and then it would be like a talk show. I still think that's a really good idea, and I don't know if I need to start charging for an idea like that. But if anybody at MLB is ever watching this, I think that would be a great idea to kind of showcase some of these young players. And I think that this could be another step in the right direction when it comes to figuring out how to promote prospects a little bit more. I think minor leagues, if you're a fan of baseball in general, minor league baseball and major league baseball, it's there obviously is going to be a difference, but like the game itself is still going to be pretty good. And if you have the chance to watch top 100 prospects in games, I think that's going to be huge. And I mean, this actually could even be a decent opportunity for, I don't know, like if it's a streaming deal, I don't know where the extra streaming could happen. Like if somebody online could potentially, work out a deal with Bally as well to stream some of these games, like, and then just have like a control center with all of the games. And like I said, when a top 100 prospect comes up to the mound or comes up to the plate, there's an opportunity to stream that at bat and get people to understand and learn about these prospects more. And I think for when it comes to Bowman prospecting, one of the things that I think a lot of people like doing with it is finding the prospects that maybe nobody knows about. Because at this point, I think the top prospects, the number one prospects, are definitely going to be, they're popular and their prices really reflect that, to be completely honest. So it's like, if you're looking for Bowman prospects, just expect that if the prospect is in the top 100, that you're going to be spending a decent amount of money on their autograph or on maybe a numbered card or whatever it is that the card itself is, that you're looking for, whether it's like like I said, a numbered card or a low numbered parallel or an autograph or even just the base first Bowman. I mean, you're going to be spending, like if you were looking for, I think Gunnar Henderson is like the number one prospect right now, which I think he also has a rookie card in Top Series 1. So most likely he's going to be taken off of that list probably early May-ish. That's usually what ends up happening with these top 100 prospects that go to the league, and they end up starting in the league like right at the beginning of the season. And I think, let me just see if I can pull up that top 100 prospect list, because like I said, let me pull it up here. MLB top 100 prospects. Because prospecting, I mean, really is like, it's extremely popular, and it's one of the things. Let's see, it's pulling up here. So we'll share this screen. We'll just look at like top 10 here. I mean, I think, let me just expand this a little bit and see if we can see. Yeah, this list, because see, MLB prospects that are already in there. So like Corbin Carroll will probably be in Series 2 because he's going to start the season in the MLB. And then you got players in AAA, AA, Grayson Rodriguez, another player, Marcelo Mayer, Red Sox guy who's in the top 10. I mean, he was projected to be the number one pick, I think, 2 years ago, ended up going number 2 to the Red Sox, which I love that pick. And I mean, especially after we lost Xander Bogaerts, we're going to need a shortstop in the next few years. And I think if Mayer can really pan out, I think it's going to be a great replacement. And I mean, it may even be honestly a reason why the Red Sox unfortunately let Xander Bogaerts go, if they think that Mayer is going to really be that prospect that comes up. But I think some other prospects that, I'll be definitely interested to watch. I mean, Drew Jones, I would expect Drew Jones to be the number one prospect probably by the end of the season. He's playing in spring training right now. So, he has a good amount of like hype behind him. So like I said, I would expect him to, make his debut at some point. Maybe not, or not make his debut, but I think be the number one prospect at some point this year. And if not this year, then I think next year he'll definitely start as that number one prospect. So back to the Front Office Sports article here. So let's see, all available broadcasts for 120 minor league teams will be available. This is something that they're working on. There'll be no blackouts for local teams, unlike MLB.TV, which I think is sort of ridiculous. Blackout games, if you're paying for the thing, it's like you should just be able to watch it however you want. Nope, not signing up for the newsletter. But yeah, like I said, I think this is when it comes to prospecting, I think that this is one of the biggest potential aspects of prospecting that could help the market in the next few years, depending on kind of when this deal sort of, maybe if it goes through. MLB has struck a deal with Bally to stream. So it says reportedly working with Bally, struck a deal. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm not 100% sure how in stone this deal is. But if I'm Topps, honestly, this is where I come in and I say that I want to be the presenting sponsor for this show. Like, if I were Topps, I would try to be the number one. I would try to be all over these episodes, or all over these shows, or however, or the games, or however they want to do it. Like, it could be very similar, like Apple TV. They have the TV rights for MLS. I would say if I'm Topps, well, Fanatics as well, and I know I keep using both, but if I'm Topps, I'm coming in and saying I want to be the presenting sponsor for whatever show they're putting together, for whichever games end up being, like, if they feature games with the top 100 prospects. I think that they should be working more in together to try and figure out a way to make these prospects more popular, because in my opinion, that's how I think baseball is really going to step into like the next level when it comes to their young players that they have in the league right now. Because I think this is one of the points in the paper. I looked at like how like Overtime and like House of Highlights, they feature a lot of like high school prospects for basketball. And I think that's one of the reasons why basketball right now, you could say, is probably the most viral, popular sport on the internet, is because there's 13, 14, 15-year-olds that have like hundreds of thousands of followers because of these other accounts that are featuring them on their pages at a young age. Then they go to college, and then they get to the NBA, for example. I mean, even sort of, I think it's still even evolving, but when this craze sort of came about was like the Zion and LaMelo Ball era of basketball. Like Zion Williamson, for example, had like 1 million followers before he got to Duke, just before he even got to Duke. And then when he gets drafted, I think he was in like the 3 to 4 million follower range. But I think that there has to be a way that they can feature baseball. There has to be a way that baseball can feature these prospects that they have coming up and get people to know who they are. Because if you were to ask the average fan, I think that they probably don't follow any of the prospects. They're probably following some of the big names. But overall, I think that the prospecting and the prospects in the MLB are where they should be focusing on writing stories about these players, trying to teach fans about the players a little bit more. And I think, honestly, if they get this deal going, this is going to be massive for those types of games, because then you're going to have like the matchup where it's like, the top, if they have if there's a couple players that are on one team in AAA versus in AAA or AA or however, if you have a bunch of players that are all in the same game, that are in the top 100 prospects going up against each other, that's a moment where I think that there is much more of an emphasis that should be put on that type of game versus like, I don't know, anything random that they could put like on social media or something like that. I just think that they need to highlight the prospects more, and that's going to help the game, which then in turn is going to help prospecting. And like I said earlier, maybe people like prospecting because it can be a little bit more complicated than it is just going out and buying the rookie card of any player. Like, you're kind of putting a bet on a player to pan out long term versus like if you're buying a card of a player who's kind of already established, there's probably a little bit of a lower ceiling, maybe a higher floor, kind of depending on the player. But if you're buying a prospect, you're betting on that ceiling being super high and finding an opportunity to sell that card either when they get called up to the majors or they get called up from AA or AAA or whatever. But like I said, I just think that there is a great opportunity for MLB here. And if I'm Topps, I'm stepping in and I'm trying to get either the rights for this show or I'm trying to become a sponsor or something along those lines, because I think that these games being free as well is going to be a monster change for prospecting and within Bowman cards as well. Now that's the first topic for the show here. I wonder, participants, it still doesn't really, I guess I wonder if it shows live. Maybe I need to try and check it live. Either way. So that's the first topic. Let's see. I do wonder. I hope that was at least long enough. I could probably add a little bit in there. Let's see. Just as long as it was at least like 10 minutes. Yeah, but yeah, that's good. I think that was a good amount of time for that topic. Okay, so next we're going to move on to, let's see. Actually, just going to pull this in here. Pull this into a Word document. All right, here we go. Next topic we're going to be getting into is going to be Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Topps Chrome All-American McDonald's cards that are missing a certain player. So let's get into it. Thank you all for clicking this video. My name is Adam from Heroes. Thank you all for clicking this video. My name is Adam from Heroes for Sale. I'm definitely interested to hear about what you think about Bronny James not being in this Topps Chrome product. Leave it in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you are new. Here we go. So, Topps Chrome All-American McDonald's cards. This was a product that a couple weeks ago, there was news reports that Bronny James signed an NIL deal with Topps and that he was going to be in this product. But it looks like he's from the checklist came out and Bronny James is not in the product. So why is that? I'm wondering. I don't know. I mean, I think this is sort of speculation. In my opinion, I think that Bronny James, I think that they're actually going to make a higher end product with Bronny James in it. I just don't see why, like, Topps signs Bronny James. They sign Omar Wilkes, or Fanatics brings on Omar Wilkes as their player relations manager, operator, person who's kind of running all the player management operations, stuff like that. And then they come out with this product. If I had to guess, I think there's a chance that maybe they're going to come out with another product. Either it's going to be higher end or maybe it's going to be like a Topps finest version of the product. Because now that I'm thinking about it and putting two and two together, I think with this product, it probably was put in this product, the Topps All-American or the Topps McDonald's All-American checklist. The product was probably put into motion a while ago, and the Bronny James news kind of recently came out. Now, we don't exactly know, like, maybe they signed that contract a lot earlier and maybe he should have been in it, or maybe there are redemptions in there and maybe that's just why he's not on the checklist. But I think he would be on the checklist if there was redemptions. Like Ryan Cracknell, he works for Beckett and does great news over there. Unless there's a surprise, I'm not seeing Bronny James autos or anything mentioned by Topps at the recent press conference. The other thing that was interesting was that Ivan, who runs Watch the Breaks, he had a tweet that was like Bronny James autos in Topps Chrome or something along those lines. And then Topps even tweeted out an eye emoji. So I don't know if that means that, like, maybe the social media manager didn't have the correct info, or if there is something else that's coming out, because, like I said, the checklist doesn't have Bronny on it. And I'm trying to figure out, like, timing wise, if the deal was signed like in the past few weeks, like even at the beginning of this year, there's probably a good chance that there's no way they could have gotten his cards into this product because of, when I talk to people behind the scenes, they say that it usually takes like 8 to 12 months in the production of a product from start to finish. So like if these products were already packed out, there is a good chance that, or they're going to come out with like a series 2 potentially, or like an update. Like that's kind of maybe what I think could happen here. I think that there is 100% going to be a second product that comes out for this Topps All-American, or the McDonald's All-American class that's going to include Bronny James. I don't know why. I don't think that it'll be next year's product really, because that wouldn't make sense, because I think he's a senior this year, I'm pretty sure. And if he's going to be in a Bowman, which I'm actually going to talk about later on too, is Bowman, the Topps, or the Bowman Chrome first Bowman basketball product actually was just announced. Hasn't been released, but it just was announced. So I don't know if maybe they I don't know, or maybe there was just a change of plans and they're going to come out with a Bowman product next year, and he's going to be kind of the face of that product potentially, because it just doesn't make sense for them to announce that he signed an NIL deal with Topps, and then the first opportunity that he would be in a product, he's not actually in it. So I think, yeah. Hold on one second. So I actually wanted to pull up an article that had info about it. So this is from, looks like February 28th. I'm going to share this tab. So Bronny James getting his first legit autograph trading card. Obviously it's a big deal. Bronny James will have his own card. In addition, during the final day of the annual Topps Industry Conference, Topps announced that James was going to be featured in the Topps Chrome McDonald's All-American set with autographs cards. I have seen people opening this product and he's not in it, so I guess I don't know what exactly happened and why he's not in it. Like I've been saying, I don't really understand why he's not in the product. That I guess it doesn't really make sense. Let me open up this. So Bronny's Topps issued autograph cards creates a unique dynamic in 2002, which was, I think, the year that before LeBron was drafted, LeBron Sr. signed what believed to be the largest trading card and memorabilia card for a rookie in sports history. He inked an exclusive contract with Upper Deck for $1 million per year, plus $1 million signing bonus. The release extended to this day. I don't know, maybe, I guess because this would be the year before. The only thing I mean, honestly, I think if I look at the reason why Bronny isn't in this, why Bronny isn't on the checklist is because they couldn't get the card in. He hasn't signed the cards yet, potentially. So that means they wouldn't be able to get the autographs into the packs because the packs have already been produced and the boxes have already been sent out. And they weren't looking to come out with some sort of update for the product that's already been shipped. So I think what they'll do is they probably will do some sort of update set for this product, and he'll have like a Topps Chrome update for this one. Or the other option that I think is potentially could happen here with Bronny not being in this first set is that they're going to come out with a higher end Topps or a higher end product. Maybe not Topps Chrome, even though it has been announced that he was going to be in Topps Chrome. I think maybe they got the autographs and they realized that maybe the autographs are a little bit more valuable than just putting in a Topps Chrome product. Like maybe they have some sort of, off the top of my head, I can't think of the major high-end Topps products right now, but because it's unlike where Panini, it's like National Treasures, Immaculate, Flawless. Those are all the kind of the high-end products for Panini. For Topps, I guess it would be like Transcendent. Maybe there's a Bowman Transcendent product that's coming out or something. Like I said, I just think that the Bronny James autograph is maybe worth more than just putting into a Topps Chrome set. I don't necessarily think that he's going to have his own Topps Chrome set, like some sort of like the thing that they did with PSG, where they came out with like an exclusive PSG box, and it was like $13,000, and each box had the first Mbappe autographs, which then Mbappe got the bag and then went and signed with Panini, which was extremely smart. But those PSG boxes had a Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe autographs in each box, and I think they were like $12,000 a piece. I don't think that they could necessarily garner $12,000 or $13,000 for a Bronny James autograph box from a Topps Chrome set where he's not really even. It's McDonald's All-American, which we have seen. McDonald's All-American sets in the past kind of garner some sort of, attention and like between them. But in my opinion, I don't know if necessarily maybe Topps came out with the announcement, and what ended up happening was that they wanted to get that Bronny James autograph into a bigger set. A bigger set maybe than the McDonald's All-American set. I don't know. I mean, I think it's like, should athletes I guess maybe Bronny James might be an exception for this rule. Like, should they give the athletes special treatment for what sets they're going to be in? If they said he's going to be in a Topps Chrome All-American set, I think that eventually down the road, we will see some sort of update or a singular set maybe it's going to be like a set with all of the autographs, like similar to that PSG box, or maybe it'll be like he has an autograph in the box and it's like each box has one of his autographs. I also think maybe that autograph is going to be worth a lot for Topps. So like if they sign the NIL deal and then LeBron came in, because LeBron obviously is fairly savvy when it comes to these types of deals, because like he signed an exclusive with Upper Deck like early on in his career. Maybe he came in and said, no, we're not signing all of these, or I don't know exactly what happened, because it's like it doesn't make much sense of why they would announce he's going to be in the product and then announce the product, or even why they haven't come out. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't come out and say why he's not in this product. Like, it would make sense for me if they made the product and they announced that he's going to be in it and then he's not in it, like come out and say why he's not going to be in it. Like if they're going to come out with like a second set, or if they're going to come out with some maybe higher end set for the McDonald's All-American, and maybe maybe that's why, or maybe it's a different type of Topps Chrome product. It all just doesn't make sense, the timing and why they have why they have this All-American product coming out, and they announced a couple weeks ago that Bronny was going to be in it, and that he's not in it. It doesn't really make much sense, because like I said, let me just check. Bronny James. He's as a senior in 2023. So like I said, it just doesn't make sense, to be honest, why he wouldn't be in the product and Topps would announce that he's in it. We'll see down the road. I would expect, to be honest, that there will be some sort of announcement coming, because at this point, like I said, it just doesn't make sense for them to make a huge announcement like that they signed Bronny, and then for the announcement and then announce the product coming out and then have him not in it, and then just not even mention why he's not in it. I think that there has to be something going on behind the scenes. Maybe they couldn't get him in the product. Maybe he didn't sign all the cards. Maybe, I don't know exactly. So like, I think even Ryan here too said, like, unless there's a surprise, like unless that they were able to get like a redemption or something into the product, he's not in it. Like, he doesn't have any autographs. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to know what you all think about it. So like I said, make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts on this product, why Bronny James might not be in it. Like the video if you are new, and if you're new, also maybe hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Alrighty. Topic number 2 done. Where do we want to go next here? This is a fun one. Open this up. Open the tweet, and then maybe I can just reduce the size of the screen. Yeah, that should work. Oops, nope, that didn't work. So over the past couple weeks, this set's been pretty exciting. Oh, you know what? I should just be putting these as I'm doing them. All right, we'll save. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back today. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today's video is going to be about Disney. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today's video is going to be about how PSA just announced that they're going to be grading some of the Chinese. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today's video is going to be about PSA announcing they're going to be grading some of the Disney 100 Years of Wonder cards. Let's get right into it. Thank you all for clicking on this video. My name is Adam from Heroes for Sale. I'm interested to hear about your thoughts about what PSA is doing here, grading these Disney cards. Make sure you leave it in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and hit subscribe if you are new. So if you've seen on social media these PSA or these Disney 100 Years of Wonder cards, it's a Chinese company that produced these cards. I'm actually going to pull up some of them. They have like, I mean, a crazy, like, boxes on eBay are going for like $700. It's a Chinese company, so like they obviously are shipping them over from China. But let's see. And PSA announced that they're going to be grading the set. Disney has been pretty busy recently because they also came out with a Japanese product in 2022 that is just Pixar characters. So it's like Monsters Inc., Incredibles, I think. But this set is Pixar and Disney. Has everything from like Mickey Mouse to the Jungle Cruise, The Rock, the character from the Jungle Cruise, the Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character from that. You know, I think that there was actually, you know, one thing that we see on social media kind of often is like bounties. And I think that I saw that there was a bounty put on the 1-of-1 Mickey Mouse card, which, like, if you had that on your list of things that was going to happen in 2023, I commend you for that, because that is definitely not something that I expected was to see. I definitely did not expect in 2023 to see somebody put a bounty out for a 1-of-1 black Mickey Mouse card. But either way, so I'm actually just going to pop over to eBay too and take a look at some of these cards and kind of what we got here. It is Phantom, like I said, a Disney, a Chinese company. I mean, actually, just gonna look up. I wish I should have look up boxes. Now let's go to sales, because that's what I think. We're gonna share this screen here. So yeah, from what I've seen, that there's only roughly 3,000 cases that were made. So in the box, there are 10 packs, and each pack has 5 cards. And silvers or hollows or rainbows, whatever you want to call them, they're coming out of one out of every 2 packs. So it's a pretty decent it's a pretty decent kind of product. Like, I think you're getting a lot of cool cards. I mean, like I said, the checklist is just absolutely insane. $600 for the box is probably not what I would be paying for it, unfortunately. Yeah, $600. I would, if you were looking to buy this product, in my opinion, I would just give it like a couple months. I think we are seeing the hype around on social media kind of maybe drive some of the pricing of these boxes. Actually, let me scroll back to, let me see how far I can go back here and see sort of where maybe, see if I can find where. Yeah, 5. See if I can find like the oldest. Yeah, so I mean, like, this is crazy. So like these boxes, the beginning of March when it first came out, were selling into like 200, 175, 180. It looks like 170. Well, best offer 175. So I mean, there probably was like 160. But yeah, so like at the beginning of March when this first came out, yeah, cases 1,800, and now we're looking at case for 5,000. So like if you were lucky enough and you bought some of these cards, if you were looking at some of these cards, you're definitely, I mean, you're looking at a pretty significant increase here. When it comes to the price of these boxes and cards. The checklist, like I said, it's a pretty cool checklist. I mean, if you're a Disney fan, like I said, I would maybe wait. I think we have seen, you know, if you follow people on social media, you've seen probably a lot of people talking about these boxes, to be completely honest, because it has been something that sort of, some people like, some people don't like. So it's a kind of varied, in my opinion. Like, I've seen people's thoughts on if they like it, if they don't like it. I think it's a cool box. I would say definitely wait to buy a box. Like, wait, give it like May or even over the summer. Like, I bet you we see these prices drop. Like, I don't know if necessarily you're going to be able to buy them at the price that you bought them at. Let's say, if you bought them at the price, I don't know if they're going to go to the price that you bought them at. If you bought them like at the beginning of March, which is interesting. Like I've said in the past, like when products first come out, like the, what's it called? the price of some of the boxes and cards are usually a little bit higher when products first come out. I'd say that this was kind of a little bit of a surprise. I mean, obviously with it being a company from China, we probably didn't have much like info on it leading up to the release of it. Honestly, but if you are looking for like Disney cards, I would even suggest, I'm going to show you the other product, the 2022 Pixar All-Stars, I think is what it's called. Pixar All-Stars. This is another product. Let's see, box. We're going to get rid of breaks here because I just want to show the boxes. And then go to say, yeah, we're going to share this tab. So this is the other product that, nope. Let me just see, Pixar. Well, these are the cards here. So let me see if I can, maybe I'll just go to sold, or we'll just go to regular listings. Let's see, let me, Pixar booster box. Yeah, let's just type that in and see what comes up when we type that in. Here we go. Now we're finding it. And then we'll go to sold. Yeah, so you can find these boxes, decent amount, for like 100, looks like 110. Pre-sale, 100 years, that's a different one. 150, 18 boxes for $2K. That's a decent price for those types of cards. So yeah, if you're looking for these types of cards, I mean, you could go with like this Japanese product, which is obviously going to be a little bit cheaper. I would think that if you're buying these cards, or you're looking for like Disney or anything along those lines, you're probably safe waiting or just buying like singles. But at the same time, like I said, they're going to be a little bit more expensive now than they probably will be in like a couple months. I don't know if it's necessarily like another product comes out that drives that price down, or if it's just like social media right now is kind of driving those prices. I would say that's probably the case because like I said, I have seen a lot of people on social media talking about those boxes. So I don't think like another Disney product is going to come out that's going to make these different. Like Disney over the past 2 years, like I said, has licensed out their IP for these products. So like, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Fanatics or like an American company come in and buy the IP and do like an American product, because like there's no way that like the card companies see this and they see kind of the hype that's around these cards, and they don't want to come in and get a piece of the action, because like they're seeing that like boxes are selling, like the Disney Pixar box, the Chinese one, is selling for 600. And if they can come in and that's probably what I would say would drive the prices down. Honestly, if that came out, if like Topps or Fanatics came out with a product, that could definitely be a driver to bring some of these prices down. Like, let me go back. I wasn't on the right tab either way. Yeah. So sorry. These were the boxes that I was talking about. 140, 150, even 115. I mean, these boxes are probably a decent example of like, maybe they were a little bit higher when it first came out, and then the other Disney product comes out. Yeah, I think in the next couple months, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Topps or Fanatics or Panini, probably not, but like maybe Upper Deck, Leaf, I don't know, like if they would, or if there's like an American card company that kind of gets produced from this. Like if one of these card companies wants to say, we're going to produce an American version of this product, that would probably bring down the pricing of those boxes. So like, it's definitely not something I would suggest going out and buying and holding. If you have the 600 and you want to buy the box, I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't, or I'm not going to stop you by any means, but like, in my opinion, you could just wait and these boxes will probably come down a little bit in price. See how we did with that one. Roughly about the same. It's good. Let's move on to Rippin' It Open. New segment on the show here. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the hot. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the hobby boxes and some of the top boxes that sold between March 15th and March 21st. Let's get right into it. Hello, everybody. My name is Adam from Heroes for Sale. Thank you all for clicking this video. Make sure you leave a comment if you are interested in this topic. If you like the video, hit the like button. And if you are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. So not super surprising here. After a long run of the flagship MLB set being the top set, it looks like Prism has taken down the top set. Oh, well, actually going to switch this here too. Talking. Oops. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Talking hobby boxes. Bring this link over. So like I said, not surprising. After a long run for flagship MLB set, Panini Prism, which released in this last cycle, became first, which actually then Topps Series 1 is still number 2. Topps Chrome Sonic Baseball still number 3. And then Donruss Elite Basketball number 4. We'll go through kind of here. So number 1, Panini Prism, that's not super surprising. I do wonder when with these boxes, like driving some of the prices, if it's breakers buying the boxes or if it's like just regular people buying the boxes, because for breakers, it kind of probably depends on the breaker, him or herself. Like there are probably breakers that are getting stuff direct from Panini and direct from Topps, so they're not buying stuff from eBay. So realistically, this is probably consumers, and I'm actually just going to open up and check some of the pricing that we've been seeing on these boxes and see how the trends are going here. Yeah, I mean, hobby pack. This is what this one is for $170. That's pretty wild. I think there's 12 packs, so like that's, I don't know why, that's just pretty crazy to me. So $650. It looks like that's what it's selling. No huddle for $650, $330. Hobby pack 72, $350, $700 for these boxes. Yeah, it's not super surprising. I think that Prism has continued to be one of the most popular sets. You know, I do wonder like where the line is in terms of what people will end up spending on Prism. Like I think one of the problems with it maybe is that it's such a popular product that people that are opening it that maybe aren't on social media don't understand how much of this product there really is. So they look at the price of the box, and if they're just buying Prism every single year and they don't really look at pricing, which I can't imagine many people at this point are, but I'm sure there are people out there. And I don't know if maybe that's why these boxes are so expensive, but like if somebody every year is just buying a box of Prism or they're buying multiple boxes of Prism or a case or whatever, they're probably the ones driving some of these eBay prices. And you know, around that $650 range for a box of Prism. And I don't know. I think I almost wish that there was a way that there's probably no way that, obviously, because Panini wants to make the most amount of money from these products. So they're not going to step in and say, well, we're not going to charge X amount. We're going to charge what the market is kind of going for. And I guess eBay, that's not necessarily what the market is going for. Or eBay versus what Panini is charging is a little bit different. And I think this maybe gets into a conversation of like where, like I said, where is the line of what a product should be priced at? I think it should be up to Panini to price these products properly. And I think that they should come out and say something along the lines of like, we don't condone this reselling of the product. That obviously not something that they would do, but I feel like at some point they need to figure out a way to price these boxes at a price that maybe there isn't as much resale value. And I don't know if it's like a regulatory thing or something where like this is sort of where I think that maybe within sports cards, there could be more regulations that come in. Like if you want to buy and sell boxes like this, like you maybe have to have a license. Buying and selling cards, I don't think necessarily, but I think boxes where it's like you're buying a product that's unopened and selling it, maybe there should be a little bit more of a barrier for that type of sale, because I think unfortunately, I don't think if you're buying this box for $650, you're going to be getting $650 worth of cards in the box itself. And I think that Panini needs to kind of step in, and Topps too. I mean, even Fanatics, maybe they'll come in and do something along these lines. But like, I feel like when it comes to reselling boxes, and I actually just think this could be a reselling of things in general. Like, I think it's okay to resell used things. So like in this example, it's like the cards that are coming out of the box. I think it's okay to resell those. I think if you're outside of cards, I think if you're but like used sneakers or like used clothes or used anything along those lines. But I think, I don't know. I just get like I don't know if I like that people can buy and sell new things necessarily. So like unopened boxes of sports cards, you know, and unopened, you know, if you get like, if you in the sneakers app, or if you're getting like a Supreme drop or something along those lines, I don't necessarily like that there is a market for people to come in and buy and sell those things. I'm actually surprised that more companies haven't come in and stopped the buying and selling of like new items, because like for a company to come out with a product for this box, for example, like the $650, I'm sure Panini would love to charge $650 for this box. But I don't think that they did necessarily. So it's like there's money being made within the cycle of a product coming out, and Panini isn't really getting any of the profit there. Like, sure, you know, if somebody, I don't necessarily know what people were buying these boxes from Panini for, but like if people are buying the boxes, you know, if they bought them for $350 and they're selling them for $650, like that's $300 that maybe that's not being made by Panini. And I don't know if it's like they should charge more and come out with less product, or how exactly they would regulate the buying and selling of these boxes. But I think that I just wish that there was a way that you could not necessarily guarantee you're going to get the value from these boxes when you open them, but I just wish that there was a way that consumers weren't buying the boxes and then not getting anything close to the value because of how many cards there are. And it's not even necessarily, I guess if you buy the box right now and sell the cards right now, you probably will be able to recoup at least, you know, I'd say maybe 300. I guess it depends on kind of which cards you're pulling out of there. Like that's kind of my thought process is like, if you can buy a box of something and you can get 50% of the value back versus versus like if you buy because there's probably not a good chance you're going to get 100%. Like I said, it does depend on what's coming in the box. Like if you are, if you get a box and you're pulling like a crazy rookie auto, or like a 1 of 1 or anything along those lines, then yeah, sure, you're probably getting the value of the box back. But like, I don't know how many people, I guess I would be interested to know how many people have come into sports cards and maybe bought a box of Prism for $650 and then they don't get anything really. And then that kind of drives them out, to be completely honest. Like, I think it's unfortunate to really think that way, but I do think that there's probably a crowd of people that has happened to, unfortunately. I think that there probably is a group of collectors and people that have come into sports cards, and unfortunately, they bought a box for $650 and then they open the box and they get $100 worth of value, or they bought like a first off the line box from Panini, or they bought a box from Panini for $300 because I think, like I said, I just wish that there was a way that maybe Panini or one of the card companies could come in and regulate the pricing of these boxes on the secondary market. Just because like $6.50 for a box of cards is like pretty ridiculous, especially when it comes to like Prism is supposed to be like the top base product for Panini. So it's like if Prism is $6.50, if you're buying a $650 box of Prism, like that's you're definitely not getting $650 worth of value. Like I said, unless you're pulling some crazy one of one. But even if there was a way that like you were guaranteed a certain type of autograph, like instead of it, like I think in the box, it says per box on average, like how many autographs you're going to be getting. Like if they were to say you're guaranteed a rookie autograph or you're guaranteed like certain types of cards within the box, like you're guaranteed a certain amount of rookie cards within the box, or you're guaranteed a certain amount of numbered rookie cards. Maybe that could be a way to bring in more value. And I don't know, maybe if I think, but I do think that if Panini was out here charging $650 for a box like this, I would hope that they would be able to figure out how to bring a lot more value, maybe bring the print run down a little bit more, maybe figure out a way to just give the people buying the box a little bit more value than they're seeing, because unfortunately for some people coming in and buying a $650 box, they may not even realize, like if this is their first cycle, like if they're coming in for the first time and they're seeing Prism prices, unfortunately, they're going to run into a scenario where they may not even realize that like last year, I'm making the number off the top of my head, but like they don't even know that last year Prism boxes were $300 or $400 or $500. They're just paying the $650 because they heard people talking about Prism as the product to buy, and they're new, so they don't know what they're buying. And I don't know, I guess if I were new and I was saying you have to buy this thing for $650, that would be much different. And I wouldn't really, that's not something that I would do necessarily, but like, I don't know, there's maybe people that are like, whatever, that's just what the price of sports cards are nowadays. Like, because they might also look at this product and say like, Prism is like national treasures. Like they might think that's what it is, even though Prism is probably closer to Topps flagship than it is. Prism football and basketball is probably closer to Topps flagship than it is National Treasures. And I get the pricing isn't exactly the same. Like National Treasure is going to be way more expensive than Prism, and Topps flagship is going to be way less expensive. But I don't think people might think that these boxes, if they're selling for $650, these people are probably expecting it to be much closer to National Treasures than they are Topps flagship. Like if you can buy but I think if you can buy like a blaster box for $30, that's fine. Like I do, that was one of the things that I think from the past couple of years that I've thought that might be a good thing for sports cards is to raise the price of blaster boxes that you can buy at retail. Unfortunately, the rise in price also came with the rise in print run, which I don't think correlated to like something that was good that happened. Like I think that they probably should have increased the print run and kept the pricing the same, or vice versa. Like I don't necessarily think one way or the other. No, I don't think what they did, which is increase the print run, increase the price of the boxes, was fair to the consumer. And I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like I support the company that's trying to make money, but I also support the consumer that's trying to make money. So it's a tough spot to be in where like I want someone to open a box of cards and be able to sell a decent amount of them if that's what they want to do. If they want to sell the decent amount of them and get some of their money back and then maybe put it into another box or buy some other cards or something along those lines. But I think if someone's coming in and buying a $650 hobby box of Prism, there's probably a decent chance that they're not seeing $650 worth of value. If you're buying a $30 blaster, there's probably a decent chance you could get you could probably get like $20 to $25 worth of value from that blaster box. But in the past, there's probably a way better shot that like if you were finding a blaster of Prism at retail for $20, there was probably a way higher shot that there's probably a much better shot that if you were buying a blaster box in the past couple of years for $20 to $25, kind of, I think Walmart always was kind of upping the price a little bit, but like $20 to $25, there was probably a decent shot that you were able to get all of your money back or make money on the box. And that would then kind of self-sustain the buying of the cards, which I think one thing that sports cards has that's much different than most other industries when it comes to like a hobby is that it can be a self-sustaining hobby if you're disciplined enough. You can buy and sell boxes, or you can buy and sell cards, and you can make money in a way that makes it so you can almost bankroll your cash, and you don't have to worry about buying more or adding more money into this cycle where if you come in like that. And that's kind of where I think this example, the box comes in. Like the $650, if someone's spending $650 and they only get $100 worth of cards, then you're kind of potentially losing more money that could be made for the company or could be made by somebody trying to buy and sell cards. And I guess it's the other conversation is like, should it be like that? Like, should you be able to buy a box? Should it be a consumable rather than a potential like asset, I guess, is maybe the question that I think it has become sort of more prevalent over the past few years. And I think what makes sports cards great, in my opinion, is that you can come in and buy a box and then sell the cards and then reuse some of the money to buy another box. But I guess that's maybe the question is like, should sports cards be consumed and not flipped for money? That's a kind of a conversation I think a lot of people do have on social media. I think, that's kind of the big question for like flippers and investors and collectors. It's like the conversation that I think people are having on social media pretty frequently, in my opinion. Like, should money be something that is really kind of the barrier entry, I think. And unfortunately, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I mean, like I said, if you're buying a hobby box versus a blaster, you're probably better off buying the blaster. You could probably make some of your money back. Like I said, 50% is kind of a threshold that I said, if you can get a box and you can get 50% of your money back, then that's good, because it should be opening the box and packs should be fun. If it's a way that you can sell the cards to make money back or sell the cards and buy more boxes, that also I think is a good option for people buying boxes and opening packs as well. And then, so Flagship, that one dropped to number 2. Still not surprising. I mean, they're still coming out with 2022 baseball products, which I talked about on Thursday's show and on an episode of the show on YouTube coming out, which I don't know. Which means it's weird because there's a weird crossover between last year's rookies and this year's rookies, both coming out in the same year. I think that if I'm Topps, you need to choose one or the other. You can't have it both ways. Like who am I to say, I guess, but it's just, I think it gets confusing for new people. And that's sort of one way I like making content, one like giving out tips. And I understand that sometimes the content can be a little bit nuanced, but like, I think it gets confusing for people that maybe want to buy a box of like the Topps. I think it's the Gold Label, I think is the product that came out. And it's going to have like Bobby Witt and it's going to have like Julio Rodriguez rookies. But then they buy like a box of this, and the Julio Rodriguez who's on the cover of the box, he's not a rookie in that product. Like, I think it gets confusing for people and it gets a little bit convoluted because like down the road, that's where things I think will get a little bit more confusing because of like release dates of the box and the dates on the box itself. That's where, we don't have the context that we have right now. Like, we understand that the Gold Label is coming out and it's 2022, but if somebody is buying that box in the future, they're probably going to be a little bit confused because they're going to say, why did the 2022 baseball box come out in March of 2023? Like, that's probably going to be a little bit confusing for consumers. And I think, the making things easier to understand, I think, is going to be very important in the future because I think as more products come out and as more information comes into this industry, it is going to get a little bit confusing for people coming in, but I think the information as it's being, what's the word I'm looking for? As it's being kind of what's the word? Not collated, not I guess filtered maybe, or collected. That's where I think there may be the confusion, because like not every article is going to say in 2020 and in 2021 products got backed up. So that's why you're seeing a 2022 product come out in 2023. But either way, I think that's sort of where I'm at when it comes to like the crossover of the rookie classes. Cause like with basketball, I mean, we're seeing this happen too. Like there was like a bunch of old product with like LaMelo Ball rookies coming out at the same time as like when the Cade Cunningham rookies were starting to come out. And then even this year too, with like the Chet Holmgren and Paolo Banchero with the Cade Cunningham, Jalen Smith. Like there were rookies that were crossing over that it was just confusing. Like, I don't know. You have a product come out that's after the new product from that year is coming out. It's a little bit confusing. I don't know. Top Sonic's still up there. This is probably more of like a Breakers product. I mean, let's see. I'm going to estimate the price, and then I'm going to look on eBay. I bet you the price of these boxes are probably like $250. Nope, actually I was a little bit wrong about that. These are actually way less expensive, which I think is good. Let me see. Go to sold. Not terrible. About $70 a box. Or I guess we've 2 for $130. Yeah, pretty. I mean, that's fine. Decent price for those boxes. I think if you want to spice things up and you're a big Topps Chrome fan, this is maybe a product you can look into. That's a decent that you'll pull some fine rookies out of. Ooh, excuse me. Donruss Elite. I'm not super into some of the lower end Panini products. I mean, I know that this box is probably going to be overpriced. Let me look. Sold. Yeah, 300, 250, 250, 250. Probably you're getting 2 autographs. There's 20 packs. I mean, I guess it's kind of like 250. This is sort of where I think that some of these boxes should actually be priced. I don't know necessarily if Donruss Elite is one that should be that price, but like I actually think like the Prism should be priced around that. Like that should be where Prism is priced at. For basketball, for football, I don't know like what they would have sold for from Panini directly, but like I said, that's probably one where it was probably sold to someone for 100 to 150, depending on the connections that you have. The connections that you have with I don't know, somebody trying to either at Panini or if you're like a distributor or something along those lines. But I think so 2022. So that's last year's class. Well, actually, I guess that's the Banchero Holmgren class. So yeah, I mean, 20, like I said, 20 packs per box, 8 cards per pack, 2 autographs. You're getting a decent amount for $250 there. And I think $250 is actually a fine price if you're trying to come in and buy boxes of cards. I'd say Prism. I wish it was around this price, to be honest, like the $250 range versus like the Donruss Elite, which is like, I don't know if it's not like a monster brand for Panini, but it's a brand that like has that Donruss, has the Donruss, the branding on it. The cards aren't necessarily it's not like Donruss with like optic. I think that would be interesting, I guess. Like the Donruss is obviously a company that Panini bought, and that's sort of where they're coming out with those cards. Topps Chrome update. I think this is still a pretty decent product too. I think I did see over this past week the 1/1 Wander Franco actually was pulled, which is interesting to me. That 1/1 Wander Franco autograph, the Superfractor autograph was pulled. So I don't know if that drives down the price of some of these boxes. I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation. I don't think it necessarily will. I think that Bobby Witt's still going to be in this product. There's still going to be some other decent rookies that you can pull the autographs, but like maybe baseball is a little bit different, where baseball, the autographs is what you're chasing, but like within maybe like, I think because the other conversation I saw was like out of Panini Prism Soccer Premier League, the 1/1 Halan was pulled, which is his first Manchester City 1/1. The black refractor. So people were saying that like now the chase card's gone, the price of those boxes is going to drop. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think that there are other tons of great cards that are coming in there. Like I think, the Flawless, we definitely saw that where, there was a big chase for Flawless basketball over the past, like, it was like the big whatnot backyard breaks thing where that one of one logo man LeBron, the triple LeBron logo man was like everybody was chasing that, and then somehow it gets pulled. It gets pulled within like a week or two of like the thing, and then people put out the bounties. I don't know. It's interesting. Like that definitely affected the price, but I don't think that type of card you're not really pulling out of a box of Topps Chrome update. Like sure, the one of one autographs of the top rookies are going to be very good, but you're not pulling a card of the stature of the LeBron triple logo man or of the Warriors triple logo man. That was another big card that came out of that product. I think we saw a decent marketing push around there. And that's maybe what drove some of the pricing of those cards up. Or the boxes themselves. But like I said, you're not really worried about Topps Chrome update pulling a card like that. 2022 Topps Heritage High Number. This is probably one of my second or third favorite products from baseball, at least. I love the concept of bringing back the old design. And I think it's actually one of the top rookies you can get. I mean, print runs obviously are increasing with that one, but I think you're probably finding that like the Heritage High Number rookie, you're probably not seeing like a huge print run spike a huge print run compared to like a flagship. So I think that's one reason why, in my opinion, Heritage is, I think, a decent card that you can buy if you're looking to get into like a Julio Rodriguez or some sort of rookie. Shohei Ohtani, I think, was one of the first, like when I was getting back into cards, Heritage High Number had just come out. So like I had pulled I think I pulled the Juan Soto and the Shohei Ohtani from Heritage High Number. And that was a really great card. And that could actually even be maybe why I'm a little bit biased towards Heritage High Number, because it was one of the first products that I was getting into when I got back into cards. And it was, there was tons of packs and I was able to buy a bunch of them, I think I bought like a couple at like a hobby shop, and then they also had them in like Newberry Comics and stuff like that. So maybe I am a little bit biased and that's why I like this product, but I think that's maybe one of the other reasons why sports cards is so great is like you can be biased towards the product. And if you're buying and selling it, and people are buying the cards you're trying to sell, then that's fine. There are probably other people that also like those same cards that you like. So you're going to find decent amount of success if you're trying to buy and sell cards that other people like as well. And Heritage High Number is one of those products that I particularly like, that you probably can buy and sell them fairly easily. I mean, it's not gonna be crazy like the pricing, like especially with flagship being pretty decently priced, like in terms of singles. Heritage is kind of in that same range. If you get them graded, that's good. It's just, I think it's a great option for people that are getting in, that are trying to learn, because it's like there's Heritage that comes out at the beginning of the year, and then Heritage High Number that comes out at the end of the year. Essentially just Heritage Update. They call it High Number because it's the second, essentially the second print run of the set. So all the cards have high numbers, like all of the card numbers are higher than that first set that are coming out. Bowman Chrome University Football, phenomenal product. This is actually the last one that I'm going to talk about with this one, with these boxes. Actually, let me just scroll down and see if there's anything else. I mean, as you can see with this episode here, there have been a bunch of good boxes that I've kind of discussed and talked about. Bowman Chrome University, I think, is one of probably the most revolutionary products that's come out for Topps in the past decade. I mean, getting the college licenses and getting cards of players that are in college right now, or they're going to be drafted, but they're in their college uniforms in what is their first Bowman Chrome cards. I think last year they came out with it, and I think the Bryce Young isn't licensed, and I'm pretty sure that was a first Bowman Chrome card. So like this year, his card doesn't have the first Bowman logo on it. A player like Anthony Richardson, who's like shot up draft board. Some are saying he might be the number one pick. I don't know if that's going to be true. His one of one actually just sold on eBay. Pretty interesting. Let me see if I can pull. Yeah, let me pull that card up really quick, because there was actually an interesting comparison that I saw Slab Stocks make actually about. Let me switch over tabs here. Yeah, about that Bowman Chrome set. So Prism and Bowman Chrome, kind of two sets that are very, not necessarily similar, but like two of the biggest brands for the company themselves. The Anthony Richardson sells for $7K, which is wild. And then Brady Zappi sells for $8K. I don't know who is buying that card. Like this card, maybe, because I potentially could see if he sneaks up and he becomes the number one pick, I could see that going up in price. You know, that could be a quick flip. Or if, I don't know, if he becomes a superstar in the league, I don't necessarily know what you'd have to price the card at for it to be worth what you paid, like worth the 7,000. Like, I don't necessarily know where the price of the card has to be, unfortunately, for it to be considered like a good buy or an investment, I guess, if you were investing. Brady Zappi, the 1/1 selling for 8,000. That's the type of card where I look at that and I say, I think that was probably shilled, like, and realistically, like, I just don't see how anybody could look at Brady Zappi, and sure, he played 2 games and he played well, but like, he doesn't really have, I think that he could be a draft day trade potentially to a team that needs a quarterback, because he showed, I think, that he can play in the 2 games that he played, which is definitely a small sample size. So yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily like where the trajectory is for Brady Zappi to get into the league. I think Mac Jones showed that he's a better quarterback. I think at the beginning of the football season last year, there was kind of some concerns with Mac Jones. But I think that they brought back Bill O'Brien. They got out Matt Patricia, who, like, many people probably don't know who those people are, but like, Matt Patricia was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, and then he became the offensive coordinator. And then Mac Jones had his worst season probably as a professional, to be completely honest, which I think that's only his 2nd season. So I guess it's, again, another sort of a small sample size. But then now they brought back Bill O'Brien, who was actually the offensive coordinator at Alabama when Mac Jones was playing there. So I think that's going to help Mac Jones for sure. But then it's not going to help Brady Zappi. So I don't know where this 8,000 coming is. Like, I don't know why the 8,000 ends up happening there. Like, I get it's a 1/1, but at the same time, like, it just doesn't make sense why someone's spending $8,000 on a 1/1 Brady Zappi, especially when out of Prism, there's like a bunch of 1/1s. It's not a graded card. Like, I think this is I don't even know necessarily if this is like the refractor 1/1. Like, cause like I said, there's so many 1/1s that are coming out of Prism that, like, I don't know. The 8,000 doesn't make much sense to me. The 7,000, I guess, does make sense for this card for Richardson, because he has grown his prospect status over the past like year. Like, he was the Florida quarterback, obviously. Florida didn't have the best season, but I would say of the players on that team, of the Florida team, I watch a lot of Florida games because I'm a Gators fan. So like, that's maybe why I don't know if I'm biased, but like with Anthony Richardson, I think he was pretty good last year, to be completely honest. Was he better than Shroud and Bryce Young? I don't know necessarily. I mean, it's interesting around draft time. You definitely see reporters coming out with stories about players, and I think this is a decent example. You see reporters coming out with stories that are trying to increase this draft stock of certain players. I think this is a perfect example. Like, I think that he definitely got into a top 10 pick conversation. I saw a lot of reports that he was going to be number 1, and I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Like, I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud will probably go 1 and 2 for quarterbacks. You know, there's also Will Lewis, I think, is coming out of Kentucky. He was another kind of high draft pick. But you will see reporters come out with articles about, for example, like an Anthony Richardson saying that he should be the number 1 pick. I think that those are more planted stories for teams that are maybe trying to make some moves around the draft. Like, maybe teams that need a quarterback, or maybe teams that don't need a quarterback are trying to get some more prospects that they're looking for. Like, maybe if CJ Stroud and Bryce Young go 1 and 2, like, maybe there's a team at 3, 4, or 5 that is going to select a player that teams 6, 7, or 8 maybe wants. So if they can get Anthony Richardson to get drafted in that 3 or 4, they then can get that player to drop down some of the draft boards, because you know, it's a business when it comes down to it. So it's like, it's maybe a team trying to do a little bit of business here and trying to get Anthony Richardson up so that way they can get the guy that they want without having to trade up. So, you know, I think he's definitely jumped up draft boards pretty significantly since the beginning of the offseason for Florida. So the 7,200, like if you know, if a miracle happens and he gets drafted number 1 overall, I think that you could maybe see this sell for 10K. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was someone's strategy buying this card at 7,000. If there were multiple people that wanted this card, that could have been another reason why this jumped up. Like, if it's a $5,000 card, that wouldn't have surprised me either. But the Brady Zappi card being 8K, I'd say that's probably a similar play where the person that's buying it is expecting Brady Zappi to be like traded and then named a starter. And then, you know, again, maybe selling the card for 10 to 11K when the news comes in that Brady Zappi is going to be a starter somewhere. Or they're just, or I can't imagine that there's a Brady Zappi fan that's just out here buying cards for $8,000. Like, just buy one of his regular cards. Like, so I would say these types of cards are probably bought in preparation for the draft. Like, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see like some quarterback cards or players that could be traded. We could potentially see some of those cards see a little bit of a bump. I mean, we did see like last year, I think it was either last year or 2 years ago with like AJ Brown. He was a player that was traded on draft. He was a player that was traded on draft day, whether you think that he should have been traded. I mean, he just played in the Super Bowl. I think, you know, we saw there was like a viral video of the trade being announced and Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Titans, being like super angry at the GM, which I can clearly see why, because it's like, why would you trade a top 5 wide receiver for draft picks? I mean, this is sort of the conversation that I've talked about with quarterbacks and with draft capital. Like, I would rather, if I were a GM and I'm not, I would rather have the player versus the picks. So like for the Eagles, they're obviously looking at it and saying, that's exactly what we want. We want AJ Brown because best case scenario, we draft a wide receiver and in 3 years, he is AJ Brown. Or we can just go out and get AJ Brown right now. And maybe that's where, like, even with Brady Zappi, like, for example, he did break the record for most touchdowns thrown in the NCAA in his last year before he was drafted, which is why I loved when the Patriots drafted him. I think, does he unfortunately maybe end up just being a backup? Like, I don't know, with the Patriots quarterback situation, it's always kind of interesting. Like, you never really know what Belichick is doing. And I think that is maybe a scenario here with Brady Zappi. Like, that's why this may be more dangerous than like buying somebody else. Like, if you were buying Stidham or you were buying Jimmy G when they were backups, you know, Jimmy G panned out a little bit. Stidham, maybe not as much. I mean, he sort of had a little bit of redemption, a little kind of moving around. I think he signed with the Broncos, which means he's still going to be the backup behind Russell Wilson. But like with Patriots quarterbacks, if it wasn't Tom Brady, it was really just a wild card. Like, you didn't know what was going to happen. And I think we're kind of in the same boat with Mac Jones here, with Brady Zappi being the backup and Mac Jones being the starter. We don't really know what's going to happen to Brady Zappi. If he gets traded, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded for like a 3rd or 2nd round pick. No, probably like a 3rd or 4th. I think he was drafted in the 6th or 7th. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded for like a 3rd or a 4th. Cause like with Rodgers, I think it was like when he was thinking about getting traded, there was like rumors it would be a 2nd. So I don't know what that means for Brady Zappi or Bailey Zappi. I keep calling him Brady. Bailey Zappi, like, where he showed some potential, but like, is he a quarterback that, you know, is a starter in the league? Maybe. I don't know, but I just don't think there's been enough time for him in the league to really. I don't think he's the perfect example of a quarterback who has potential, but like hasn't shown really that he can be a starter. But I don't know, somebody spent $8,000 on his card, so I don't necessarily think it's warranted. I think the $7,000 spent on the Anthony Richards makes a little bit more sense because it is a 1-of-1 superfractor with an autograph. The Brady Zappi isn't an autograph. But I don't know, probably more than I would suggest paying for either of these two cards. But with the draft coming up, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with these quarterbacks, if there's any trades, where people get drafted in this year's draft for sure. I think we got. Just trying to decide. Try to decide if I want to do a stream tomorrow, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to end the stream here, and then tomorrow. Yeah, I think maybe tomorrow or Monday, I'm actually going to do another stream here. Got a couple other good topics, but I think that's going to wrap it up for this stream. If you enjoyed, make sure hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you leave any comments on this stream or any of the new videos, we got a ton of videos coming up in the next day or so, next few days. We always do, just because a lot of these topics end up becoming streamed videos. But either way, thank you everybody for watching. I will see you in the next one.